What's going on, CCIV investors and traders? Let's give you guys the latest. What is going on with CCIV stock? They have been pretty flat for the day relative to the drop that we did see 2 days ago, only down 3.49% and after hours up 1.05%, so only down about 2.5%, including regular trading and after hours trading. But I do think there is a strong potential here for a short squeeze. That is not to say it will happen. Take these videos with a grain of salt. I am only relaying this data and this information to you guys, as well as my insight to add on top of it. So I'm not a financial advisor, not a financial planner, or your dad, so don't listen to these videos. Always do your own due diligence and come to your own conclusions. But we're going to be going over the Ortex data, be kind of talking about when I do think a short squeeze would happen, and it is simply due to the vote day, which is July 22nd, and the day that we actually merge into Lucid Motors, which is July 23rd. That is so important because investing in CCIV at these current prices, there is a lot of risk. If the vote did not go through for whatever reason, a lot of hedge funds, institutions, whoever it is, they would lose money down to $15 per share if this vote did not go through. So do you think they're going to be putting a million, 100 million, whatever the number is, in this stock if they could stand to lose 40 to 45%? They're not going to. As well as we have a very high short interest, and we have seen this multiple times. I am currently invested in a couple of SPACs, SoFi being the one that I want to talk about, that literally does nothing up until the actual merger happens, and then they go crazy for about 2 weeks, over double in price, and then they will come back down to those original prices 2 weeks later. So this is really going to be about a 2-week event. I do think so myself, but there's a lot more we have to go over in this video, as well as the technical analysis. Take a look at the charts and what I am doing with my CCIV position, because I did make a trade today. So with that being said, hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and let me know in the comment section what you guys think about CCIV stock. What is your plans with your position? Are you a longer term investor? Are you playing this for the potential short squeeze? What are you doing with this? Let me know in the comment section. But with that being said, first thing that I want to talk about is some people think, or are saying at least on my last CCIV video, that CCIV is going to zero and that they are a fraud, and that is simply not the case. Now, yes, they did say originally when we did have the first run up in CCIV stock that they were planned to deliver about 6,000 vehicles for 2021. That has turned out not to be the case. So I do like to give them the benefit of the doubt, because ultimately, think about it from the people in the company or who own shares. They're not selling their shares right now. A lot of these shares will be in a lockup period, and we have not seen them selling shares. Obviously, once they do merge into Lucid Motors, hopefully we'll get more insight as far as if they have, but Peter Rawlinson is mostly paid in stock options as well. So there's no reason to pump and dump your own stock if you're paid in options. That doesn't make sense. You want long-term trajectory of straight growth. That's what you want to see if you are paid in options or invested in options, period. So I do think it was a bit of a miscalculation, and odds are they ran into a couple problems they don't want to just come out and talk about, but odds are they ran into a couple minor problems, and they just have to retweak these vehicles until they finally do get delivered. Hopefully that is worth actually waiting for if the vehicles come out to be good and perfect, rather than rushing these vehicles out and then having a ton of recalls. So that would hurt the stock a lot more than just playing it cool and waiting until the time is right to finally start delivering these vehicles. So that is my insight as to why, you know, people are saying that, for one, but what the actual reasoning is as far as Lucid Motors and why they actually said that. Now they're being sued for that, so hopefully nothing like that will happen in the future. I don't expect it to, but if it does, this is a aggressive growth company. It's pretty much a startup still, even though they've been around for about 6 years now. They're still a startup and they're getting on their way, so just have patience with CCIV. If you like the stock, if you like the company like I do, you can see the potential in this. Nothing to worry about. People will forget about this. Give it a couple months after they're actually merged into Lucid Motors. People will not be talking about this. You will not hear about this pretty much ever again. You might way down the line, but you're not going to hear about this for a while, and it won't have any impact as far as the stock in the long term. But the Ortex data, 18.33% short interest percentage of free float. Current shares that are sold short, 37.94 million. Ain't that a motherfucker? Look at the volume that we are seeing every single day for CCIV stock. We're going to go to the daily candlestick chart. We are seeing about 10 million in volume. On a higher end, we're seeing I mean, this day that we really went crazy on CCIV, we only had about 19.5 million in volume. So if you take into consideration today, 10.2 million for volume, And we have almost 40 million shares that do need to be bought back. That is about 4 times the daily volume of shares that are sold short. And we are holding up at these prices. Believe it or not, we are pretty much holding up at these prices. Anything over 20 is good. But not too long ago, we were just at about $30 per share, or close to $30 per share, in that $29 range. And the fact that we have been doing this on such low volume leading up to these major catalysts, that is 100% getting ready for a short squeeze, in my opinion, and that is why I am trading this and have trades in this. But for a long-term investment, it's not the same as investing for a short squeeze, so don't get that confused. Two totally separate things. But share utilization is at 99.87%. So this is a very hard stock to borrow. Very, very hard stock to borrow. Like, you wouldn't probably be able to get your hands on these shares if you wanted to sell the stock short. So I don't expect too much further increase in short interest. I don't expect them to start covering shares by any means as well, because if they do, they're going to send the share price up higher. So I think they're expecting or hoping for CCIV stock to actually come down after this merger, but that is simply not going to happen. If you guys want a video literally going in depth why I am so confident this will not happen and it'll actually be the opposite, let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to provide you guys that information, but I can make a whole video on that alone. Now, as far as the days to cover, pretty much what I was talking about, 4.40 days to cover, so almost 4.5 days to cover. That means if every single share was, like I already talked about, covered and bought back in the day, it would take almost 4.5 days to actually cover their short positions. So huge move potential here. It's going to take a while to weed all these shares out unless we do see a huge increase in volume, which I think will happen after the merger, but it's hard to tell. Obviously, when you get that short squeeze effect, it's going to happen, but like I said, you can't really tell if you're going to see an increase in volume. But I do quickly want to acknowledge the overall good, I shouldn't say FUD, but good sentiment around CCIV stock. Pretty much all these articles I am seeing are good things to say about CCIV stock, besides the class action lawsuits, which is not really having a huge impact on the stock, since they're going to have about $4.4 billion in cash once this is done. Who cares about a couple $1 million they would have to pay out for these lawsuits? Investors definitely are not caring about that. But let's get into a little bit more of the chart action, guys. We're going to go to the 4-hour candlestick chart because this will give us a good picture of what is going on. And obviously, in the middle of May 13th to be exact, we hit $17.25 per share. Dogs are going crazy, but yeah, we did hit that low, and then we did bounce up, like I said, just about a month later to almost $30, about $29.91. That is where we found a little bit of resistance, fell back down from there. We've been in a pretty bearish downtrend ever since there, but we are approaching this major support level. We actually hit that right here. It's not going to come up on the chart, but about $22.60. Bounce right off of that. We could see this is a huge support level. We have this is where we started gapping up. We had 1 touch, 2 touches, and then this 3rd touch. So this solidifies that this is a major support level. Whenever you get those 3 or more touches, that is indicating a solid support level at that $22.60 mark. Now, if we continue to fall, we are going to lose this golden cross that we do have right now. And if you guys are unfamiliar, that is a huge sign that the stock may be going higher. We are in a golden cross still. That is where the 50-day moving average crosses above its 200-day moving average. That is a golden cross. When the 50-day moving average goes up under the 200-day moving average, that is a death cross, which does signal to you have a huge potential to either go up or go down. Obviously, go up with a golden cross, go down with a death cross. So like I said, if we continue to sell off, we're gonna go back into a death cross type action, and that'll definitely not be a good indicator to be seeing. Now, if we do break under $22.60, your next level of support is going to be at $20 per share. I don't think that's the case. I think you're more likely to go back, bounce up in between this consolidation range that we have been seeing, in between about $25 and $27. I'm not going to go ahead and mark that. That is just something to keep in mind. More than likely, up until the merger, we will probably be in between $25 and $27 per share. If we do break out over 30 before the merger, that is where this gets very interesting. At that point, though, I do think you're going to see some shorts exiting their positions and covering those positions, just because there's going to be so much risk on that. So that is basically everything you guys need to know as far as the charts are concerned. Let's take a look at the move that I did did make today, and I sold a put. So this is bullish. You're not buying a put, you're selling a put. So you're agreeing to buy 100 shares at the strike that you sold. I sold a CCIV $20 put for August 20th because obviously I think the stock is going to go up. So if this expires worthless, if CCIV closes above $20, then I will keep this money that I did collect for doing this, $167. But if I am forced to actually buy the shares, my real cost on these shares would be $18.33. The only downside to this is you have to put up that cash for these 100 shares and basically not touch it until you exit out of your obligation, your options contract. So I had to put up $2,000 to make this trade. I stand to potentially make $167. Worst case scenario, I keep $167. I have to buy the shares at $18.33. So that is the move that I did make today. Just to reiterate, I still have the CCIV $30 call for August 20th. It's currently worth $141. I bought it for $191, and this thing has been all over the place, like I talked about in the last video. At June 30th, obviously 2021, it was at almost $400. Went all the way down to about 200, back up to almost 300. Now at its lowest point it has been, obviously, since I bought this contract. So I think it's a great time to buy this contract, but a lot of other contracts in CCIV stock. Now, I only bought one to keep it small. My whole thesis here is I'm going to keep it small. I'm going to play the short squeeze and the event that I do think is coming. If I am wrong, I'm going to lose a little bit of money, almost $200, a little bit of money in the grand scope of things. But if you keep it small, you're only going to lose a little bit. If you spent $2,000, $10,000 on these contracts, you're going to be a little jumpy about these positions. But if that was the case, I would have sold half at $400 per share to collect that profit and basically make the other half of those theoretical contracts free. So that is this position. That is what I would have done with that position if I was in a position that size, and that is something you guys can take away from this video as well. If you are in a super large position, you have to be faster to take profits, or at least get your initial investment back that you paid for the position, just because anything can happen, especially when you are trading options. And just like you see there, you could be up to 300% at its highest like I was, and then you're down. What am I down? I'm down, hold on, excuse me. I am down 26.18% on this right now, down $50. And if that was a lot of money, I definitely would be hurting off of that. So that's why it's important to get your initial investment back or to take profits when you do have the chance to do so. As far as my long position, I do have 166 shares. I bought 10 shares today. That is it at pretty much this price, around $23. Average cost $23.14. It literally didn't even move the needle. It was so close to this price. My market value of $3,851.20, down or up. I'm still up 0.25%, or $9.69 on my total position. This is a very long-term hold for me, so I have no plans on selling my shares anytime soon. This is a stock I'm going to hold for at least 10 to 20 years. Literally no plans of selling it, no matter what happens to the company. So that is going to conclude this video. If you guys like the information and analysis that was provided to you in the video, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel, as well as let me know down below in the comment section what you are doing with your CCIV position, as well as if you guys want to get totally free stock with no deposit necessary and no need to link a bank account, check out the link for public. Like I said, no money down. It's literally free money. It takes about 3 minutes to get your free stock. And if you guys are not signed up with Webull, deposit $100 with the link in the description, get 4 free stocks, each of them potentially worth up to $2,400 a piece. Both of those great brokerages. And if you guys want to start winning on your trades and be notified when I make a trade, just to reiterate, if you do join that, I can get you into these winning trades. I'm not going to tell you when to sell these winning trades, because that is your money and that is your position to do what you want to do with it. So if you guys want to be part of that or sign up for those links, check them out, link down below in the description. But that is it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.